Hi, I'm John Pruitt, author of Tales of the Tide, and this is my good friend Bruce Chandler, the artist. And the good news is the tide has come in. After almost 2 years of work, the book is finally done and it's here and ready for delivery. So, Bruce, we've been waiting for this very moment for a long time. What a great blessing it's been to work with you on the project, you and Marsh Dean, the videographer. Behind us we have the beautiful artwork, the renderings that Bruce did. Bruce literally painted all of the watercolors and did all the sketching specifically for this book. So that meant a lot to me, and hopefully it'll mean a lot to the reader. So, Bruce, without hurting my feelings, it probably wasn't easy to work for and with, but tell us about your experience with the book.
My experience with the book. Let me start off by saying first that generally artists will tell you they'd rather paint what they want to paint when they want to paint it and not do commissions, because it's very hard to know what the other person wants. However, it was necessary in this project, and it wasn't as hard as somebody saying do a portrait of my mother, not that kind of thing, but it was a matter of trying to almost see in your mind. And the reason I say that is because you have a photographic memory. You're very attuned to nature and its art, and therefore I needed to put it like you saw it. You actually saw much more than I did as an artist.
Well, thinking about it is the easy part. You put brush to paper and created some amazing artwork. You and I have talked hours and hours on the phone about about the stories and the artwork, and as I've said, the videographer Marsh Dean did a wonderful job complementing the stories and art with video. If there's a favorite, it would probably be the one on the upper left there, On the Rocks. That was a story from, 30 years ago almost. A good friend of mine and I had a good day of fishing that almost turned into a bad day because of the weather. But they're all just beautiful, Bruce. What would you say is your favorite?
Thank you, John. I have to turn and look. Maybe Perry's Bait and Tackle, because that's a place I've driven by many times. And then to walk inside of a little building like that you've passed, and it's cute, and you like the idea of basically it is a bait and tackle shop, but you come in and you see the little minnows swimming around, and you smell those little minnows. And it's like loving the smell of pluff mud. Once it's familiar to you, you look for it. And it just made it a special experience.
One of my favorites as well. That's the one on the upper right there. And we're actually at Perry's Bait and Tackle right now, out in the backyard of their lodge. And Sharon and Craig Donor have been so generous letting us use their property, and they've been so supportive of the project. But I look back, Bruce, some of my favorite memories or conversations you and I had late at night talking about how to tweak a word in a poem or how to tweak a color in one of the paintings, and I felt like you were very much on the same page with the way you wanted things to look.
Well, you got to start another book right now, because I'm going to miss that too much.
Yeah. Well, it took us about 1.5 years, but I wouldn't trade a minute of it.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Me either. It's was a very exciting thing for me to do. I've done some other books, but they didn't speak to me like this project did, and that's because of the way you communicated your love for this area and areas like it up and down the coast.
I've been very fortunate to have spent most of my life on the coast, and one of the things I'm proud of is that we were able to pull some of the characters of the coast into the stories and into the artwork. The middle picture in the back there is a crabber from McClellanville, which Marsh spent a lot of time with out in Bulls Bay, following him around, watching him go crabbing. Each of these pictures, most of them, are renderings of literally right out in places out behind us, and that means a lot. They're not fabricated.
Right. And the thing of it is they were produced for the story, but in the painting of it or filming of it, that became a story too.
Yeah.
And for us, it really gave us a lot of depth. And the thing about the book is going to do that for people who read that book, because I've been told by professionals that have seen the book, your copy that came early, though, is they have said the flow of the book from the written word to the painted pictures and then the video is just phenomenal.
I hope that's the case. That was our goal, and so a good example of that, a story about an old waterman that I knew, an old crabber. The time I spent with him, and you painting the rendering of him out crabbing in the marsh, and then the videographer Marsh Dean literally following him around in the marsh. I don't know that there's a book experience like that, anywhere. So the stories, the artwork, and then the video launched by QR code by your smartphone, very easy to do. I'd like to think is a total experience.
I think it is, and I think people will recognize that. Even when I was at the printers getting prints made, people would come over, and I would always have the book with me too to compare what was happening. And everybody wants a book, and I think you don't have too many too long.
I hope so. I get the question, quite often. What would success mean with the book? And I think, I can speak for myself in saying I've already realized the success. I mean, the friendship that I've forged with you, and the process of going through this whole wonderful, difficult, time-consuming project has been a real blessing. And then to get to know Marsh Dean, the videographer, and I hope at the end of the day that the stories and the art and the video will bring people closer to places like this. Teach them a little bit, about places that they've been to before but maybe didn't understand, or bring them to a place that they had never been because of the book and the art and the videos.
But with the book, they can take it home with them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Well, that's quite an accomplishment that you did, because you really took care of every different portion of that book. It wasn't like turned over to one person and say, okay, I wrote this, how about put it together and get it done.
I had the easy part. I just wrote down what was in my mind and told you and Marsh what I'd like to see in the film and the artwork, and you did a wonderful job. Both of you did. It was a team effort.
I think about two things. I think about the chicken and the little boy running.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That chicken Harry.
Yeah, and it took 3 times for me to understand what he was trying to show. I had a little chicken running behind a little boy, but it wasn't the story. And so you had a lot of patience getting that point across. And the other one that is not one of the big frame significant paintings, but it was a little sketch. The sketch of you sitting in your chair under the tree at the crab shack. Crab man. Yeah. And the fact that you could tell me that, and I had nothing to go by, and for a while just really thought, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull that one off. But through all of the talking and stuff that you did, it just one day happened. It really did.
You're no stranger to this place. You love the smells and the sights and the sounds as much as I do. So it was an easy connection, Bruce, and it was a real pleasure and a privilege to work with you on the project. So I want to thank you. So And if you're interested in buying the book, Tales of the Tide, you can go to my website, jmiltonpruitt.com. The artwork is available. We also have note cards. We have small vignette, matted vignette series. So there's much more art than what you see here today. But I hope you will take a look at the website and enjoy the book and enjoy the artwork.